So you might remember the other day I did a video talking about how the House Republicans had their 290-page report on their impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. And, their evidence basically is nothing. They're all of their evidence or all of their charges are Joe Biden had phone calls with Hunter where Hunter put him on speakerphone, and occasionally Joe Biden showed up to talk to his son. Wow, how awful. Um, but there's no real evidence. They're just saying he committed impeachable crimes because he was influence peddling. That doesn't sound like influence peddling. That sounds like talking to your child. And they're just saying, well, Joe Biden should have known that by even being on the phone with his son, that helped him in some way. They can't actually say how or to what degree or how much money that was made off of these things, but they want to say it. But now they've also come out and said, well, we don't expect there to be a vote anytime soon, if at all, on on this impeachment inquiry. He committed the crimes, but we're not gonna vote on it. Now, why aren't they going to vote on it? Well, they probably don't know if they have the votes. Remember, they only have like a 2-seat margin in the U.S. House of Representatives right now, maybe 3 at best. So they can't lose very many Republicans, and if all Republicans aren't on board, this would fail. And they don't want to take a shot at impeaching Joe Biden, especially on flimsy charges, and have it fail this close to an election. Now, they may try to do something after the election, but I don't expect them to do it after, because at that point, what is there to gain other than starting Kamala Harris's term early? I mean, I fully expect her to win the election, so after the election, them impeaching Joe Biden isn't going to hold water. They were just trying to find anything. They were so desperate to find anything on Joe Biden to compare him to Donald Trump in this election. But now that Joe Biden is not the nominee, it doesn't matter as to why or what might have happened. Now, if he did commit crimes, I would fully expect him to be impeached and held accountable. But he didn't. They were just trying to make something up to make him equivalent. So ultimately, they failed. They wasted 20 months on this impeachment investigation for it to go nowhere, for nothing to happen, and most people are going to see right through it. So don't be surprised if this all goes away and goes away quickly now, especially with Joe Biden not being the nominee and Kamala Harris being the Democratic nominee for president. They've already said they're going to start looking into Kamala Harris. They want to look into Tim Walz and try to see if there's anything that they can do there. It's more bluster. It's more bullshit because they don't have anything. They just got to try these sham investigations that lead nowhere, ultimately to try to discredit somebody. The other thing is, I think part of it was to why they kept digging and saying it had to be there is they have gotten so used to denying all of the criminality that Donald Trump has made that they can't accept the fact that somebody else isn't as criminal as Donald Trump. So that's just one thought as to why they do it, or a couple thoughts, I guess. But ultimately, like I said, there's not going to be an impeachment vote. At least it doesn't sound like it. And they spent 20 months, wasted taxpayer money, ultimately in a failed effort to discredit Joe Biden.